Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
And today our topic is about global business strategies applied, and I will focus on the basic international new ventures. Before I start this presentation, I will first tell you my own story about how I started up a new business. Just like after I graduated from the CDUT and before I started the postgraduate in the international business, I just planned to set up my own business with international ambition. At that time, I traveled around China and talked with several entrepreneurs related to have international business to find some new ideas. And also, I just reviewed about our previous understandings about business strategies, just like what David told us. But at that time, I just fall into a trap of snowdrop. It's like so many information are saturated in my brain. I just do not know how to link those really know-hows to set up a new business. So in this presentation, I'll focus to solve this problem with decision-making process for entrepreneurs, especially for international new ventures. So let's start. At first, I will tell you the phenomenon of international business is basically two parts of traditional M&Es and international new ventures. And I found those two series a mystery of cat. They're living with us, but they hold the secret of international business. Let's see. As for my cat Cedar, he's very traditional and he's like the traditional M&Es because it grew gradually with a lot of resource I gave to him. I love him with a lot of love, with a lot of food, with a lot of toy. He just grew up gradually, just like traditional M&Es go to international with stage series. The stage series basically, there are four classic stage series, such as Uppsala model, innovation model, and such as network theory and product lifecycle theory. I will not go deep into this, but if you have further interest, you can personally search that. Just like for the traditional M&Es, they basically follow the choose market based on psyche distance. The psyche distance is something like how the new country or new market is similar with your origin country or original market. For example, if you're in China, you may choose Thailand because Thailand have very similar culture and it also have a very close distance with this market. Such process will help the decisions very safe because new market can help reduce risks because you already know that market that is very similar to you. And then we'll gradually start that internationalization with expert. But back to the international ventures. Everyone knows there is a very strange creature named orange cat. Anyone here have raised orange cat? It's like a cat that suddenly grow into very big size, but it really needs very, very small things, right? I don't know why it grows so fat, but it's like international new ventures. They just skip so many steps and achieve internationalization. And in the real life, basically, they're more like the choose market is not follows the logic of psyche distance. They more choose market based on who you know, who you are, and what you learned. For example, if you have a partner already knows the market of UK, you can choose the UK market and invest and make a joint venture in that market to achieve rapidly internationalization. And my business is mainly focused on the international new venture. So how to make decisions? Let's see. According to theory, there are two kinds of decision-making process. First is causation process, and second is the effectuation process. As for causation process, it's basically like you already know what you have and what you want in the end. You have a specific goal. What you want to do is to choose a means from several means you have to suitably achieve your goal. So it's very classic, and it's like what we learned in the SMO and GPT class to achieve a global strategy. But as for the effectuation part, it's more like you open the refrigerator, you know you have something, but you just don't know what you're going to do in the end. You have a general goal, but you do not have a specific goal. So at this time, what you need to do, you need to first figure out what you can do based on all those resources. What is your means? How many means you have? So means are developed by who you are, what you have, who you know, and some social capitals that could improve your resource. And at this time, you can decide your goal in the end. And within this cycle, you have a development growing cycle within the effectuation system, or we also call it effectuation dynamic system. That is, during the increasing of your social network, there is an accumulation of your resource. As for the accumulation of resource, you will have further means to help you make more business and find more new ideas. And based on all those means, you may probably create a new market or create a new business in the end. So, but I don't think only just one of these approaches is important, is just okay for one business to grow up. As for my personal opinion, I think all those approaches should use together flexibly. Let's use examples from our GBD and SMO class. This is my last coursework. At that time, firstly, I used effectuation approach to choose a business opportunity. That is, at that time, there's a middle of the pandemic. There's so many kind of medical solutions for this disease, such as blood purification, stem cells, and some further biochemistry injections. But for the product, I considered about the Indian market, so I will consider achieve the internationalization within 2 years. So I think maybe a product is more suitable. So in the end, I chose this blood purification device. So as we know from SMO and GBD class, let's have a review. What David always told us, the most important thing is profit, profit, profit. Right, profit. So that means we should focus on the value chain, how the value transforms from the first stage to the end stage, to upstream to the downstream. This is first part. And the second part, most important, is how to make things simpler, faster, cheaper, smarter. Do you remember about that? Yeah. So that is the core of a strategy. Based on these two principles, I made this model in my final coursework. It's basically like how this value transforms from each stage and how in the end I make a business localized in India. So in this part, we can see from my model, it's basically a combination of causation and effectuation approach, because the whole model is combined by a causation logic, that is the value chain logic, and also the entry mode is like joint venture is also a causation approach. But during the process, there's some parts like the collaboration with the local hospital, or such as eat dinner with local doctors to see nice relationship, to help us find more customers to sell our products, and also have close relationship try to see close relationship with Chinese medical team. In the end, we can have more resources to reach to those new market. So basically, we can see from this, we are a combination of causation and effectuation. It's at the first, we see the new idea, to find a new idea with the effectuation approach with open mind, based on what we can lose and what we can afford in the end. But after that, we also need to consider about the risk and our income. For that, we need to use causation approach to critically thinking how to make our things simpler, faster, cheaper, smarter, such as how to reduce our labor cost, how to reduce our time to go internationalization, and how to enter that market with low costs. But during this this process, we also need effectuation approach to help us stronger our social capital, such as network. And the network will help us increase our resources, just like I used to say about the effectuation theory. At that time, your resources increase, and you will have further understanding of your market or further creative ideas. In the end, you will have maybe new idea to alter your product or alter your strategy in the end. So, in conclusion, as everyone who know me, I have a little bit resources of medical. So I made a brand autonomy to the entrepreneurs and investors. So this is very scientific that this is a brand of an entrepreneur. You know, every one of you may have such brand look like this. In this brand, you may care about so many different parts, different dimensions of a business, such as how to run a business, how to start up a new idea, how to enter a new market, how to reduce your loss, how to make risk, or how to mitigate risk, and how to try best to make more profit. But as for the investors or your new partners, they may care about profit. It's just like Gavin mentioned. And what benefit to it is the causation approach. Causation approach can provide a very clear logic to all your business and to tell them how our business make profit in the end. And that is quite attractive. So this is my oral presentation. Thanks for listening. I hope this will give you some implication for your further assignment. Thank you.